Bingin, Elbrun, all the way to Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, East Africa combined. Canada Richards and Divino Richard tunawaletea muziki ya kinyumbani.
Short and sweet, DJ play the song. Tena na tena na tena na tena.
WR tukutane online.
Real World presents
taking you on a music journey around Africa and the world.
The station with the best music.
African music.
Yes, your home of African music from wherever you may be listening to us from. Remember, 99.2 FM is 4:20 actually this evening, and that's from wherever you may be listening to us from or watching us. Actually, if you have an advantage to take us on YouTube, thank you so much and welcome to the show. Remember, it's Europe's #1 African station for Afronews, Afrobeats, and the world hits. Remember, updates happening around African countries to the world out there, wherever you may be. Remember, this is AGGY'S live talk show today on the second Sunday that Aggie is not actually around, but I'm telling you, we have a very big team today representing in the house, and I'm gonna tell you who is inside the show today. But before that, yes, remember to join us live on www.cradior.com, or you can go to YouTube or Facebook live. Join us, tell us where you're watching us from. We have a very important topic today, and I'm telling you, the guests that you may be seeing or you may be hearing later on, yes, they're gonna tell you what is actually coming up next. I'm gonna introduce to you the guests that I'm having here in this room tonight, or in this studio tonight. Remember, 6:21 at this hour. I'm going to come back to you after this short break.
Already started 2021 with a great sound. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, non-stop African hits, broadcasting live from Stuttgart city to the world. 99.2 Radio RFM, a place where music lives.
Yes, RFM from Stuttgart City, wherever you may be listening to us from. As I said before, today we have a very important topic on AGGY'S live talk show. If you're listening to us from wherever you may be, remember East Africa, yes, Uganda, Tanzania, to Congo. So many people are listening to us out there, West Africa, Nigerians out there, Gambians. Thank you so much for always tuning in. Remember, from USA, I'm currently seeing so many people tuning in and watching us. Thank you so much, and remember to share it to your friends out there. And welcome to AGGY'S live talk show this afternoon or this evening, according to where you may be listening, yes, to us from.
You came all the way from Africa. Life has been a journey. Race, culture, color, and language. On Diaspora Chronicles, Agnes K. Frulich brings you AGGY'S live talk show. On 99.2 FM, your home of African music. Radio Ara. This is AGGY'S live talk show.
Yes, this is AGGY'S live talk show. Remember, it's your boy Canado Richards here from wherever you may be listening to us from. I'm going to introduce the guests that I'm having here today, or the people that are going to help me today go through AGGY'S live talk show. I'm very sure Agnes is watching from wherever she is in Italy. Thank you so much. She is tuned in, actually. She might be talking to us later on what she thinks on the topic that we are having here today. But remember, before I do that, I'm going to introduce my guests. Yes, starting from the far end, I'm telling you, ladies first are in the house. Yes, of course. I can see them smiling, actually. Let me start from the far end. Can you introduce yourself to the people out there who are listening to us, so that they may know who you are today here?
Yes, good evening everyone. My name is Nyathia Kinyi, and I'm a pharmacist and a mother of two. Welcome to the show.
and I'm a pharmacist. I will know more about that pharmacist. But coming to the second guest here today in this evening, please introduce yourself to the listeners out there.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Becky. I'm a mom of 3, and I'm a registered nurse for profession.
So we have a pharmacist in the house, we have a nurse in the house, we have so many people here, and I'm gonna tell you, now I come to the gentleman that is always helping me here, seated right here next to me. I'm very sure, so for those people who are not seeing you, they can actually listen to you. You can introduce yourself from wherever you may be listening to us from.
Yes, it's Koku TP. I'm a engineer and DJ and all around just social commentator here on Radio RFM.
Wow. So from a pharmacist to a nurse, yes, and I'm telling you, to an engineer here. Yes, we have a very important topic ahead of us today, and I'm very sure for most of you out there, it might be sounding something that is very normal to you, but to us today, it's a very important topic that we might be discussing out here so that we may be helping one or two out there. So many people are afraid to come out and say what they are undergoing, but I'm telling you, gonna tell you today what is actually under this topic. Remember, somebody wrote some times back here, good afternoon, and he was requesting others in the internet to tell her about if you bring a child to Germany, if you bring a child to Europe, if you bring a child actually abroad, and after a certain years, the child becomes, she wants to own her own life, what do you do actually out there? Should you discipline your children here in the diaspora? There's so many questions actually arising. Parenting, do's and don'ts that are supposed to be done here in Germany while we are taking care of our children out there is the topic actually we are having today, because so many people are losing hope for their children out there. The Germany laws are, I don't know how, but we might be looking one or two so that we might compare. Are we trying to, are we the parents that are in the mistakes, or are the German laws trying to protect the children who are not doing the right things out there, or what are we supposed to do out there? So if you are out there listening to us, watching us, wherever you may be listening to us, tell us what you think about this topic today here. I don't know where am I going to start from, but as I said, I'm going to start from the ladies actually. If I can start from Makinyi from the other side, now you became number 1 from the other side. Just label you number 1 to 0. Zero, I can call myself 0, but you are the number 1 there. I'm very sure you are a parent.
Yeah.
And we always appreciate that today we have parents actually here trying to assist us come out of this situation where so many people are thinking what is going to happen next. You're a parent here in Germany.
Yeah.
What do you think about the children that we bring here in Europe, the children that we bring here in diaspora? How are we raising these children?
Okay, first of all, I think I will just talk as far as the experiences I have witnessed from friends or friends of friends who have brought their children from Africa to abroad here. Because myself, I have my kids here, so I would really not be in a position to imagine what that entails, but I'm going to give my opinion based on these experiences that I have witnessed, as I said, from my friends and friends of friends. What I gather is that there's a very big difference of children growing in Africa and children growing here. Our children in Africa are controlled by our culture, tradition, and there's a way we discipline our children there. And that is also different here. There's some freedom that children born here enjoy that our kids do not. So when the child moves from Africa to here, that transition, the child experiences that change immediately. Because this child comes into this system, and all of a sudden, I have a freedom to say what I want. If something happens to me, I can say here, I can go and report here. There's a lot of things that are different from where I grew up, and the process of this child trying to understand these changes is what probably some parents feel as a challenge.
Right.
Because depending on how young the child came, if the child came at a younger age, you're probably not going to have as much difficulty as when that child comes, as when the child is about 10, 12 or so.
Sure.
That's my own take.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we can see the transition coming from back in Africa to Europe, and so many things. Whereby children are controlled from the traditions. I grew up being controlled actually from the traditions, as we can say. There's so many things that I have seen here. TP asked me last time when we were discussing here on AGGY'S live talk show if I grew up in Germany, what would be my life like. I told him I was to be so lazy, and I will insist I was to be so lazy than I am today. But coming to my second guest here, Becky, if I can come to you right now. You're a mother of 2 or 3, which I cannot confirm from where I'm seated. Maybe you confirm to us. As a mother, how is it? Because there is a woman out there there's a mother crying out there that she cannot anymore. As a mother, how do you feel when you feel you see another woman crying, and maybe you can help?
First of all, it's really sad. Like, given the fact that we do our best to bring these kids here for their own best interest and for our own good, and to give them a better life, so to say.
Sure.
But sometimes it's really sad when you have to struggle, like, to do the whole job, which is not a joke, like to process the whole document and to run up and down, and the amount of time, the emotions from parents like who've left their kids, like for example in Kenya. I'll just talk about Kenya because
All right.
that's where I come from, like in Kenya. And you do everything to bring your kid here just for your kid to turn against you, and you're like, first of all you become confused because you don't know whether that was the best thing you did to bring. And as Akinyi said, it's all about the cultural difference and everything. But the biggest thing that we catch when they come here, for example, when you bring a little bit grown kids, around 10 and above, for example, let me give that. They go to a class that's called Vorbereitung class. And this Vorbereitung class, they start immediately they arrive. And in this class, they're taught their rights.
Okay.
Yeah. So when they say, like, you have a right to do this, and your mother doesn't have a right to punish you, or the time you're supposed to come home at night within your age limit and everything, I think that excites our kids who are controlled by everybody in the village, for example, in the city, the uncles, the aunties, everybody, the neighbors were looking on this kid, and when they come here, they're like, I can do anything because I'm protected by the law. Yeah, that's I really feel for the parents. I've been in that shoe, so I really know how it feels. Yeah.
I understand from this perspective before I come to TP here, because TP, I'm very sure you're wondering what the parents are talking here. It's something that is true out there. It's something that is going on right now. And Becky talking about the rights of the children in Germany, because now that is the question I think we might be asking ourselves. For those children who come here, or what are the rights actually of the children who are here in Germany? I was just trying to read out there, and I was like there is a right to protection against violence. There is a right to education. There is a right to participation and equal treatment, and there is a right to leisure, relaxation, and play. So before we even expand on that and know this and how it has affected the parents that we have here today, or for those who are listening out there or watching us out there, Tipi, I might come to you right now because you were born in London, you were born in abroad, let me just be specific, all the way from Ghana to this place. Did some rights try to protect you from your parents trying to discipline you somewhere out there?
Yes and no. Because at the same time, the way I can speak from, let me speak from the perspective of friends that have come from Africa to the diaspora. I think seeing them, it was hard for them to integrate.
Okay.
But they made it. For me, growing up, the culture was always instilled in my house. So I was still, even though I grew up in the diaspora, I grew up in a Ghanaian household. So that was one thing that was different for me. So even like today, everything I do or everything is me. Africa is in me. Even though I wasn't born in Africa, Africa is within me.
Okay.
And I'm always, you know me. I'm always in. I call it home. I'm always in Ghana. Every year I'm in Ghana, even though I wasn't born there. So it's different. I think for me, definitely having Ghana in my household, understanding my culture, is what, and that is what's helped me, or that's how my parents raised me, and that is how who I am today.
Was the discipline African?
Yeah,
it was African.
It was African.
All right.
I got beaten.
So do you think this is the mistake, the German laws? Now you're talking about London, maybe the German laws.
No, because the UK laws are similar.
Okay.
Your child can call the child services, and they can tell the child services that my parents are beating them. Or even if you're in school and you tell the teacher will call the child services. But there's a process that happens. I know the process because I know somebody who's gone through it recently. So even if, say, the child is beaten and they go to school and they tell the teachers, the teachers tell the child services asks the child, are you unsafe? Do you want to be removed from the house?
Right.
Either they will go to a foster family, a family that is caring for other children as well, or they go to maybe other family members. And I had a situation, actually it's happened in my family, and a family member came to live with us. So it came to live with us, and what happened was the child services came and they came to see the house, is the conditions are okay, where the child is going to live, and they also had the police came in. And the police came to interview her and interviewed the parents to find out what's going on. And they asked the child, do you want any action to happen to your parents?
Okay.
Do you want
so now the child has to make a decision here.
Yeah.
Hey, before I ask my two ladies here on what is happening, the German parents... let me just be straight on 2000 or something, 2009 or something like that. German parents go off a corporal punishment, whereby the German parents almost never slap or spank their children anymore, according to their to what was published by then. Violence against children is out, as the government says. Do you think, Akinyi, there is something wrong with the laws of Germany?
I don't think there's anything wrong with the German laws, because if you want to be honest with ourselves, they made their laws to fit their lifestyle.
Okay.
Their culture is not ours. So when they are drafting their laws, clearly they did not have ours in mind.
Sure.
So we are the ones who are actually living in their country. That means we have to integrate ourselves into their culture. So I do not think that there's anything wrong with their laws. Rather, we are the ones that have to accept that these are German laws, and we are foreigners living in the diaspora, and we have to embrace this kind of laws. But personally, I would also not want to take Africa away from my kids.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I had my kids here, and they do not have that chance or that opportunity to experience Africa as I did.
Sure.
You know, so the values that were instilled in me as I was growing up, they are most probably not going to enjoy it as I enjoyed it. So it is my responsibility as a parent to bring Africa to them in my own way, and trying also to balance with the laws that are here. That means if there are laws that I feel are going against my own cultural principles that I want to instill in my boys, then I don't take that, because by the end of the day, I am the parent.
Okay.
Yeah. And I am responsible for the kind of men that my boys will grow into. Yeah.
Becky, let me come to you, because the same question I asked her. How do you feel about these laws? Are they restricting you from trying to spark your child a little so that she may change two behaviors?
Talking about the German law, the law applies only in
To our sisters.
That's just me, and that's just my own beliefs. But I was, like I told you, I was slapped as discipline.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the German laws, again, is easy. Every law is easy to be used, or you can use it to your own advantage. So yeah, I think that's my thoughts on that one.
Anyway, you may be listening to us out there. Remember, it's 6:42 this evening. It's a very important topic here. I'm telling you, we are trying to find a solution out there to some people actually who are listening out there, and to the mommy actually who wrote, trying to seek for help. Because when someone goes out there and writes, "What am I supposed to do? I brought her here. She was 2 years old. Now she is 14. She feels like she can do anything she wants, and she cannot help it out there." Is what we're trying to discuss today, so that we may know how can we try to help each other as parents here out there. How do we try to advise, go against, according to the rules that are actually there. We are Africans, we all understand, but we are in another man's land. We have to all understand. Then we have to take actually action that where it is needed and at the right time. If you're listening out there, tell us what you think on our Facebook pages out there. We are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook. Remember, you can listen to us on www.cradior.com. Check us wherever you may be and tell us what do you think about this topic today. Anyway, you may be listening to us as we go for a very short, quick break.
Station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Oh yes, I got you, baby. I'm telling you, number one African station. For Afronews, Afrobeats, and the world hits. Here's updates happening around African countries and interviews and experiences of Africans and their friends living in Europe and all over the world. Most of you are asking, why can't we say this in Germany? I'm telling you, Europa's Nummer 1 Radio. Für Afromusic, Afropop and worldwide hits. There's actually Ereignisses in African Ländern. Interviews und Erfahrungen von Afrikan und ihren Freunden, die in Europa auf der ganzen Welt leben.
This is your number 1 radio station.
For your daily shows and African hits, Canada, DJ Drazi and Divina Richards on Radio Ara 99.2 FM. 99.2 FM. Live from Stuttgart City, Germany.
Yes, we are talking about something very crucial here, wherever you may be listening to us. And if you're joining us 4:45 actually this evening, remember it's your boy Canida Richards here. We are talking a very important topic here today in this evening. Should you discipline your children when you bring them here in Europe? You've hustled out there, you want them to be near you here, and when they come here, they turn over you out there. We are trying to get some answers from so many people here. There's someone who wrote, I can't even say her name actually. She did allow me to do this. Elizabeth wrote it from North Germany. She was trying to ask for help on how she can do for her 2 or 14-year girl who has turned over her. She's saying she can do what she wants. Becky, if I can ask you one question now. At what age am I supposed to tell my child now you are free to do what you want?
Here in Germany, they don't have an age.
Okay.
Because they start doing what they want at whichever age. Mm-hmm. For example, a kid can start smoking at 13.
At 13?
When they are caught by the police ask, does your mother know that you're smoking? At 13. A kid can start drinking. Uh-huh. Maybe she drinks too much, she's taken to the hospital. Mm-hmm. And when the police come, they're like, how old are you? Are you 13? I'm 13. Does your mother or your father knows that you're drinking? The thing with here in Germany, it reaches a point when a parent says that you can do what you want, it's because you've reached your end.
All right.
So that's how it is. Like, you've reached your end, you cannot do any more because you've tried to look for help everywhere. Mm-hmm. I would say, like, the lady that asked that question and I responded to her, mm-hmm. You might think that you're running to the social services to get help for the kid. And they end up portraying like the mama or let me talk about the mama is the one, because let's speak the truth. Most of the ladies who bring their kids here, ladies, so to say, are single mothers. Okay. Like maybe the dads are in Africa and they bring their kids here. So the first thing the social services ask you is, where is the dad? So they start trying to portray you like it's like one side you failed because the father figure is not in the kid's life. But the truth of the matter is, if you bring two kids, for example, one can follow the rules and be the best, and the other one can just go the way that she feels like she wants to go. So that tells you it is not the mom's or the parents' failure for the kid to be what she is here. I tend to believe it's a matter of the choice this kid has made and has put, that I just want to do like this, because the first thing they do when they arrive, they use the word freedom. Like, I want my freedom. And the minute a kid tells you, Mom, I want my freedom, and that has happened to so many parents. Like, after a kid stays there for 3-4 months, like a little bit of German and something, they come with this word freedom. The minute the kid says freedom, that's the beginning of the whole trauma for a parent. And that reaches, you will say you can do what you want in whichever age till the child decides to change on her own. Because the kids, even in Africa, you might punish a kid and they never listen.
They never listen.
So here you cannot punish a kid. You can only talk to a kid. And when the kid decides not to listen, it means she can do what she wants till she thinks it's the right thing to change. Because however much as a parent you try, the only thing, like I told that lady, is just to go on your knees
and pray to God.
And to pray to God. That's the only option that is left in this land, to be very honest.
Hey.
Yeah.
Vicky, I don't know where you were when my father was raising me up. You tell him to go to his knees and pray.
Not in Africa. Not in Africa.
Because what I have seen and what I am now seeing here in Germany is totally different. Yeah. Because here in Germany, we are advised to make a dialogue with our children. And I wonder the punishment, like chase the child to his room or take away his phone or her phone. That's the kind of punishment that I was to receive. Oh, I hope my father is listening out there. Akenye, I don't know what. I feel that you have something you want to tell us, because I don't know. This is the way you were raised.
I was raised in the typical African
African way.
Yeah. But I must say that what it did is that it distanced us from our parents.
Okay.
That is what it did. The father was not to be. I mean, who are you to sit with your father? What are you?
That's true.
And when he comes, why don't
and when he comes, is that particular chair? It is his, and when he sits, that kind of a setup. Okay, sure. That was when I grew up. We parents who are in the diaspora, we must understand that it cannot be like that here. Okay, and that's where the dialogue comes in. Start as early as possible to make your kids your friends.
Sure.
My kids are 11 and 7. We talk like we are buddies. We're just discussing any topic we talk.
Okay.
Because I want them to have that sense that I am not their authority. I'm not their dictator. I am their mother, but also I also insist. I always tell them all the time. Ich bin eine afrikanische Mama, so that they know that the way I'm going to do things is not the way your mama's friend is going to do it. Yes. So they have already known that there are some things that mama will do because she is afrikanische Mutter. But I do it in the best way possible. If they do something wrong,
sure.
Yeah, you sit with them, you dialogue with them, and tell them I am going to give you 3 warnings. Because of where I come from, I can't warn you more than 3 times. After that, you know what is going to happen. They know. They already know it. It's already in their system. You must start to instill this in them. That is now the Africa you're bringing to them. Okay. You do not need to abuse them, but just instilling that fear. Because by the end of the day, the fear alone will make that child not do what he wants to do.
Sure.
Now, that child that has come from Africa, we must try and talk to. We have to try and see who is my child's friend. Who is she or he hanging out with? That is the first, because, and then also you must understand that these kids are also going through a lot of challenges. They're going to be mobbed.
Yeah, sure.
They have not been mobbed in Africa. They're going to be mobbed. They're going to be discriminated. They want to look for new friends. They have to understand that language. And then they are definitely not going to be as smart as their mates. That means if he's supposed to be in 5th class, he's not going to be at par like his mate. And that is going to disturb that child. Once you realize this, then you must be very close and observant to your child.
Okay.
When you make your child your friend, there is nothing you cannot talk to your friend and to your child. And you must also always remember, you are the parent. This is your child. Your child should not outdo you. It is not done. Even in the Bible, Quran, anyway, your child should not outdo you. Now, the last thing I want to say is an example. There's a friend of mine who lives in Göttingen. She brought her daughter from Africa, and the daughter was about 12 years. So she came, and then after some time, of course, she got into that peer pressure. She wants to belong, and the only way she can belong is to be cool. And being cool meant for her being that bad girl. We are going here, we are not doing this, we are not listening to our mama, we are threatening our mom that if you do this, I am going to do this. So the mother told her, you know, what is going to happen is that I am your mother. It's not the other way around.
Sure.
And I brought you here to have a better life. But if you think that you can do it on your own, then I am going to let you do it on your own. And when it is difficult for you, that is when you will start respecting. She let it go.
Okay.
And she is the person who even called the social people and told them, you know, this is my house. My rules have to be done here. If she cannot come at the time that she's supposed to come, then you people should take her to that Jugend, whatever. She only stayed there for 6 months. She's the person who just came, Mama, ich kann nicht mehr, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Some of this decision, it has to be drastic. It's called tough love.
It's true.
It's called tough love because no parent wants to stay away from your child. But if that is the only way that this child is going to understand stuff, then so be it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to add what Akinyi just said.
okay.
The truth of the matter is also taking this kid from the house to, for example, that 14, 12, they go to somewhere they call a Wohngruppe. Like, there are many girls who have their own rooms and they live together. But the thing is, the kid has also to decide. As the mom, you cannot decide. So, for example, you take your kid, you go, you look for the Wohngruppe, and keep in mind, this applies when you're a single mother or when you're a single parent or when, even if you're together, when you take this kid from your house to take her to that Wohngruppe, those are extra expenses for you. Because you have
for you as a parent.
Yes, for you as a parent.
Okay.
Because you have to pay, even if it's not the whole amount for the Wohngruppe, which is sometimes more expensive than even the rent that you're paying. So you take the kid, you go to the Wohngruppe, they tell you how much do you earn. So you have to pay your house rent, you have to pay all your bills, you have to pay where this kid is staying. I know of a colleague who told me the dad used to pay 600 euros per month for the room that she was staying. So at the end of the day, as Akinyi said about dialogue, let's come in the reality form. There are kids you can never dialogue with because mama and papa know nothing. You people know nothing. So why should I sit down with you and we dialogue with you? And when this kid, the same way Akinyi said that when they arrive, they want to explore. It's true. And that's why it comes in. You explore, you either end up the good side, or you end up the bad side. And that is why so many parents, like that lady who was crying, I saw people telling her you can take your kid back to Africa. Number one, you cannot hold your kid and put her in the plane or him in the plane by force. No. And let me tell you, these kids know their psychological game.
Sure.
You will take this kid, tell them we are going to Africa. If that kid lands in Africa, she can even wipe your shoes in the airport. Mama, what am I supposed to do? Mama, what will I do? Mama, can I go bring this? Mama, can I clean the house? So, first of all, as a mother, you become confused because...
Was she the one?
Then they're two different things. Then all of a sudden, when you take the flight, when you land here, that night, she vanishes, for example, from home. So that tells you, these kids, most of the time, people might point the fingers at the parents. But most of the time, it's not, for example, here in Deutschland, when we talk about the time, the parents who bring their kids when they're doing their courses, Ausbildungs and everything, you don't have the whole time, like, to run after your kid. Or maybe you're working too much. Maybe you're a single parent or maybe something like that. You're working too much. You don't have this whole time to run after your kid. The whole time, like to check what she's doing and everything. Sure. And that is what comes in mind when you say that it's a matter of this kid's choice. They see Papa is really struggling because he's working too much and he has to take care of me, or Mama is really struggling, she has to work too much, especially for those parents who work 100%. We know in Germany how life is. So the thing is, I tend to tell the parents, like, the only thing you can do, try your best in this land. Let's call a spade a spade. Try your best. If the best is not enough, as I said, go on your knees, because even if you go to Jungenamt will just bring a whole process, like they will bring betrayers for the kid, someone to be always there for the kid, and the kid will be talking, and the kid will be saying what they want. For example, if you have a small house and they bring the Jungenamt in, the first excuse they will tell you, this kid might be behaving like this because she doesn't have a room of her own.
So
in
they
Germany,
are trying to give you another expense that you never had as a parent.
Let's assume you try to get that room because that's what they do, and they give you pressure.
Okay.
So you get a room. So the child doesn't change. You go back because now you're seeing you at the end of when every letter comes in Germany for a kid that has done wrong, for example, it comes yours and hers because you're the perpetrator.
Parent,
yeah?
Sure.
So they tell you, okay, yeah, she got her room. So you're like, yes, she got her room. So what else does she need? Because it seems like the Jungenamt knows better than you as the mother. And when they tell you, okay, we'll try this. If the kid does not appoint all the appointments, it again comes to the mother. Like the fault is the mother. And that's why I think so many parents are really struggling. Because as much as I've spoken even with some of my colleagues, like you go to Jungenamt crying for help. Okay. You turn to be the bad person. So you turn to be the one who's failed, apparently not. So this topic is one of the hardest topics. Parents who bring their kids to Germany, I think most of them can bear me witness that most of them even fall into depression.
It's true.
Because you're helpless. Like you don't know what to do, you don't know where to go. You take her to somebody, like for example, Akinyi, you try, Akinyi is like, I can't because you know, because like now if you go to the trains at night, you find even a 12-year-old kid dressed in a funny way going out. When the mother calls, what do they tell them? Gazette, sag, I'm supposed to be at home, what do you say? Even if you call the police, they'll just tell you, Madam, just relax, her time is not yet there to come home. Tippy, I'm very you're in deep thought. TP, you're in deep thought actually that you're even afraid to become a parent in future.
I'm not afraid. Okay. I'll tell you, like, there's a lot of things that have been spoken, that have been discussed here. There's freedom, we discussed about parent and child relationship, the child wanting to be in with the in crowd, trying to fit in cool. There's even you spoke about the topic of the woman saying, somebody responding saying, "You should take your kid to Africa." Yeah, there's a lot here, and there's a lot for me to explore. Okay, I've had the threats of, "I will take you to Africa" before from my parents. I've had, you've been told this before. I'll take you home. But let me tell you one thing. For me now, like going to Africa, I feel there's actually there's a lot of freedom there. Okay. I'll tell you there's a lot of freedom there because I'll say that because...
Are you saying because you were born in London, or you want me to tell you that...
Listen, some of the traumas that you face in the diaspora as a black person, you will not face that in Africa.
Correct.
You will not face that. Correct. And the way some people are living now in Africa is good. I'm telling you. Good. I had some friends here. It's true. They were sent to Africa. Actually, my ex-girlfriend. They were sent to Africa when she was 12, but it wasn't because she was bad. The parents wanted to, were working so hard, so they didn't have the time. Okay. She went to private school in Ghana. They had a driver. They had a cleaner. Are you telling me that's not life?
That's their life.
They don't have that life. They didn't have that life, and they don't have that life in the UK. Okay. So there's elements of it. I think yes, there's certain things that you can teach a child, or a child can be taught when they go back to Africa. And same thing with, as you said, where the child went to the Jungenamt or the and I think that's sorry, go on. Yeah. And I think that what that teaches a child is actually your circumstances are not bad. Your circumstances where you're living in is so for example, you may think, oh, my family are poor, we don't have much, because the people in school, maybe they have better trainers, or they tell me they go on so many different trips. But when sometimes you go to a world which is outside of your world, you realize that actually we've got a lot.
Yeah.
And it took me a while actually to realize for myself that when I was younger, we always had food. There was not one day where we went hungry. And we always had clothes. You know, every 2 years, I have 2 brothers and a sister. Every 2 years, my dad will pay for everybody, and we'll go to Ghana for 4 weeks, and that's not cheap. To fly to Africa is not cheap.
It's not cheap.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it takes for someone to be removed out of the world to realize, you know, life is not actually bad where you are. And a way that, because you can tell the child, yeah, you've got it good, you've got it good, you've got it good, which I was told when I was younger. Life is good for you, life is good. But sometimes some people just have to experience it. Just have to experience that, you know. The way that my parents is bringing me up is actually helping me. Another thing is the way that my parents were brought up, or the way that you were brought up, is brought to where you are today. And look, you're successful. Yeah, sure. You're successful. We're all successful in what we're doing. So I think it's hard to try and translate that to children these days for them to understand. Yeah. Because to them, your mommy, you know, and sometimes like outside, you can go outside and you might even be a chef, and they'll be like, oh, you're boss, but your to your child, your mommy. So it's just mommy, and it's kind of sometimes it's humbling when your child says that to you. I've seen it before. It's very, very humbling. But at the same time, I agree with dialogue. It helped me from a certain age, because I used, as I said, I used to get beats from my parents. But it got to a point where, like, I think there was one time my dad beat me bad, beat me real bad. Hey, I remember that time, I will never forget. But I think him himself realized that I cannot always do this, and at that point there's like a switch flipped. Actually, I spoke to him about it recently, and he told me he was so disappointed in himself that he actually cried. He told me, me and my dad, we have this dialogue now. And from then on, it was we had more of a conversation, but at the same time, it's good to have the dialogue, but always, I believe, there's a point where you have to discipline a child. You have your boundaries in your head, like you said 3 times then. But I think that boundary is very important. So yes, you have the open dialogue, and your child can come and tell you about the problems, what they're facing in school. Maybe sometimes they may feel that you're pushing them hard. So you have that dialogue, but at the same time, it's always have that boundary. Okay, yeah, we can have that dialogue. I'm still your parent, and I still have to show you, look, what you're doing is not right, and this is going to be the consequences. I remember my dad used to say to me, you know, if you don't listen and learn your books, you can either that you go and work in the supermarket. Not saying that working in the supermarket is bad, but he was trying to show us you can have a better life. And you can have a better life by working hard, and he was right. Looking back, when I was younger, I didn't understand, but it stuck with me, and it will stick with you. And some of the lessons that our parents taught us when they were younger, it still stuck with us. It does. Good or bad, it still sticks with us. So I'm not a parent, so my advice probably is not the best, but I think being a child and in the diaspora and where I am now is everything that you're telling your parent, it's not going. Sorry, your child is not going on deaf ears. They will hear it. You may think they might not hear it, but they hear it. They hear it. So I'd say you're doing a good job. Don't think you're not. You're doing a good job. You're doing a very, very good job. So I commend you. It's not easy. I've seen my sister. She's got 3 boys and one daughter. I've seen my aunties. I've seen my friends. It's not easy, and I'm looking forward to it. But I know it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be this sort of like stress. They're going to always test me to see how far they can push me, how far they can
testing the boundaries.
Testing the boundaries. I know that's going to be there, and it's going to take a lot of patience for me to deal with it. But yeah, so I say that I think everything you're doing is right. I know it's hard to see now. It's a challenge. Keep doing what you're doing. You know, it's gonna work. It's definitely gonna work.
Yeah.
My own experiences are, I had troubles growing up. I had troubles with the police when I was younger, and that only came because I thought I could try and be the man of my house. My dad moved to Ghana to do business to try and make more money. I thought I could try and I'm 15, 16 now. Let me go out and listen. I need to go and flex my muscles small. So I was going out. I was hanging out with boys in the area, and just various things happened. I won't go into that. The troubles. And actually, my dad had to come back from Ghana. He had to come back from Ghana, and he had to. Yes, when he came back, something stopped. But I was always testing the boundaries.
Yeah.
And but what I can say is, he was always talking to me, and at that point he instilled more into me, and to the point where, like, I am where I am today. I'm still a stubborn child.
Okay.
That won't change. I'm very stubborn. I have my way of doing things, even though some people try and teach me other ways. And I can say it's worked for me. Maybe I've taken the long route to do some things, but it's worked for me. I don't know what to add to that. There's more that will come up, but yeah.
You're still stubborn.
I know.
So let me just jump in and say and ask something. Like, I'm a typical Kenyan grown-up young man like me here, who grew up in a situation whereby I was trying to be not to take into dialogue from my father or my mother. I faced it rough. Do you think that this mentality that now I have as a man, going to be a father now, I'm going to do it to my kids back? Do you think this mentality, when we came here and we find it's only laws that are trying to govern us to take care of our kids, is it affecting us in one way or another? Are we trying to forget or try to force things that are not supposed to be forced in this generation?
I would personally say it is a personal choice.
Okay.
Personal choice.
You decide as an African who is living in the diaspora how you want to raise your family. If you want to instill some values because there are some values that we have that are really, really good, and you really want your kids to have, and there are those that are not good. Right. So the good ones that you really want to instill in your child, irrespective of the laws here, if you want to do it, you can do it. I know of so many families that have lived in an African setting, and the children have learned to grow up. They have grown up as African children. Yeah, you are not going to deny the German in them, because these are Afro-German kids.
Sure.
That means they go to school in
the German schools,
system,
they
German
come back
friends.
home to Africa.
Is definitely going to have their own German mentality.
Let them have their own
but
identity.
It's your choice and it's your decision to try and instill some of these African values in your children. That is a personal choice. Some people feel like the law has strangled them, and some people have found a way to maneuver with the laws. Yeah.
Becky, add some juice inside this.
You know, the person who puts on the shoe is the one who knows where it hurts.
Sure.
So what I can say is, like, for example, the way Akinyi said about the dialogue, and the way he said about the dialogue and everything.
Sure.
The thing is, we're talking of a kid who's coming from Africa to Germany. Remember, this kid was not with the parents for a very long time.
Yeah.
So it means, like, this dialogue was nowhere applicable for this kid. And even if it's the dialogue, let's talk about dialoguing on the phone. When somebody tells you, your kid did this, your kid did that, and now you're trying to be like tough on the phone, what will this kid do? So the thing is, even the Bible tells us, like, correct the kid or the tree when it's still young, right?
Still young,
something
sure.
young.
Before it goes on.
So the thing is, when you were not in this kid's life, for example, you left your kid, some parents take up to 8 years to get papers, even to be able to start processing for a kid to come. That means that those 8 years, you were not in this kid's life. Yeah? And in these 8 years, the people who were taking care of the kid, might be people who are caring, or might be people who are just after your money.
Or maybe abuse
Yeah?
as well.
Or maybe they
Similar
were abusing the
story.
kid, you know. So the thing is, the whole system of what parents go through when they bring the kid here. First, the kid will start to rebel. Mama, Papa, you are not in my life for 8 years. What are you trying to tell me?
Okay.
This kid will not understand. I was not there trying to make your life a better life. I was not there trying to fight for you so that you may come to Germany. And let me tell you, there are those kids, even this German law, they still don't follow it.
Sure.
They still don't follow it. To them, is the police are like, police is, to me, it's a scheißegal. Like, they really, and I think that also comes with the stage. This teenage stage, and it's not really necessary like only kids from Africa, but I think even the kids here. You might stand on the street and you see a kid slapping the mom, and the only thing the mom will say is like, stop. One day I saw a woman Millionaire shopping mall. A kid is crying because they want something, and she slaps the mom, and the mom is like, stop. You know, she's holding the hand. As an African parent, for 1 minute, a chopper, I will really beat you. Then I call the police. Then what will happen? Consequences. You already have a strafe. You already have Copa Paletto.
Yeah.
That again is a problem for you. Then I saw someone wrote, take this kid back to Africa.
Yeah,
There's one thing I want to tell people. It's not easy to bring the kids to Deutschland. So how can I struggle for years to bring my kid in Germany?
And then all of a sudden one day it's prepared to take...
Yeah. For example, I know of a lady, my friend, a very good friend of mine. The kid is born here. She could not hold anymore, like the Jungendamt couldn't, because even the Jungendamt, they also have their grenze, their own their end. They have up to the limit they can do. So if they cannot do anymore, trust me, they don't tell you, they leave you. So you'll be calling them and they're telling you, yeah, you know, they're looking, but it is like they've tried, then they have their limits. Because even them, they have their limits. And this is your child, so carry your own cross. So this lady took the son back to Africa. That is not even like 2 years ago. Okay. Like the kid is born here. Do you know what the Jungen, and it's the Jungendamt who approved the letter, like the letter to take him back to Africa. To learn discipline, because they could not discipline him anymore. He used to beat kids in school and everything. Happen? Yes, it does. It does. I'm telling you of a living example.
All right. So you get a letter to take your kid
back to Africa.
Okay.
Then after a month, she got a letter from the Ausländerbehörde for the immigration, telling her she cannot let this kid stay in Africa because she has papers to stay in Deutschland because of this kid.
Okay.
You understand me?
Okay.
So if you take your kid, there are only options. If you check the comments, there are only options. So it is either you bring the kid back, or you also go with him.
Well, you lose your paper.
I saw
somebody writing that they should be going.
Yeah, genau.
You go back.
Yeah,
you go back, both of you.
Yeah,
it's either you decide, you go back.
So it is. Sometimes parents who bring kids, they're so helpless. Okay. In this land, the only thing you saw I wrote, it's only God. Like for example, when a kid will reach a certain age and will realize what I'm doing is not right. Let me change my ways. Because if you take a kid back to Africa, the kids don't get a visa, they don't get a permanent stay immediately they arrive. They still have to stay for 3 years. They have to add if they see the kid is stubborn and everything. So the thing is, within this duration, if the kid is too much, you're trying to protect this kid for him or her to get papers here. Yeah? And the kid is becoming too much with the runnings to the police and everything. But the kid does not see that. So it is the mother who is carrying the whole burden.
Sure.
Yeah? If the kid goes and messes up out there, it's the parents. The parent is called. So the truth of the matter is, when somebody tells me, take the kid back, that is a definite that I'm taking my kid back. She's 16, she's 17, she can never come back. She can only look for a way on her own to come back. Which parent will throw just the kid when you have a golden opportunity? Then again that comes. Most of the parents are suffering and they're struggling, they're crying, they're doing everything because they still want to hold on their kid, hoping for the better life in the future, that this kid will realize what they're doing is not right.
Because the parent maybe has some experience before.
Yeah, and they will realize, like, I know right now he or she is not seeing what she's doing is wrong.
Sure.
But in the future she will see. And that comes the problem. When she has to pay strafe, for example, it's the mother who will pay. Because because he doesn't have money, she doesn't have money. Yeah, it reaches a point when they come here, they tell you, Mama, give me my kindergarten. The kid is living in your house, but they're asking for their kindergarten for them to use it. So you have to pay all the money and all the, like I read a lady there saying she brought her kid here 2 years ago. Then a friend came to her house and told the kid that your mom is mistreating you, let's go with you. If you can read one of the comments, the lady said so. And what did she do? Because she's getting kindergarten for this kid,
Okay.
she will not go to report. So she has let the kid go with the friend. The kid is living with a friend and doing everything. But because of this kindergarten, she will not go to report that the kid does not live with her. And the point here, the biggest point here is when a kid fails, most of the time people tend to point at the parents.
Okay.
Like this kid has failed because you
of
as a
the
parent,
you failed.
but sometimes it's not the parent. Because for example, if I don't drink and my daughter drinks, is that my fault? It's not my fault. Because if she comes home drunk, I call the police. Will they tell me, come, they call you outside. You know the problem is she's still young. Yeah? So just give her time. Those are the people who are supposed to protect you and protect the kid.
Are these the police you're saying?
Yeah, so the police call you. For example, I know of someone who disobeyed the corona regule and the kid has paid, she has like 1,000 for Strafe to pay. And the mom was too, because she was in quarantine because in school somebody was found with corona. And the mom could not control this kid from going outside at night. So she had to call the police because again, if she breaks the law, it's the mom's fault.
Mom's fault.
So she calls the police. I remember I had visited them, and the police calls and they tell this girl, like, you just stay at home. You know, you're under quarantine. Just stay at home. That's how they talk with the kids. Actually, they don't shout. They don't do anything. Then when they locked, I was standing with this lady outside there, and the police tell her, come. You know, she's still young. We cannot tie her.
Okay.
You know, we cannot tie her legs. We cannot lock her room. So there's nothing much we can do. So in other words, you're left with like vibita, like you're so helpless.
You're
like
so helpless. You
you
don't know
cannot
where to
do anything.
Where to run to.
Yeah, you have nowhere to run to, and that is why I'm saying the person who is putting on the shoe knows where it hurts, because until you're there with this situation, you will never know. And the only option I would like to encourage parents who are going through such difficult times, taking your kid back to Africa is not the option, because if you take them back to Africa, it might be worse. Remember, this kid does not have even a KCSE certificate. She does not have a KCP certificate. She cannot use the certificate from here. What are you sending the kid to Kenya to do without papers? What will they do? She's still a kid. They end up even becoming worse because I'm coming from Germany, I'm cold, I'm hot, you know, everything. So it becomes even worse because this kid doesn't have a future. But at least when they're here, you still has hope. Like you have hope, like one day. Like I will just continue as a mom. We are Africans, we pray. Whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian, we pray. And the only thing that we were taught by our parents, and even the Bible tells us, go to your knees when you cannot handle it anymore. Go. You don't necessarily need to be like very safe to go. Go to your knees. Pray for your kids, because you see, like they say in every family, there's a black sheep. Where does this black sheep come from? Because you've been brought up with the same roles, with the same characters and everything. It is a matter of this black sheep decided that I just want to do things the different way from the other people, you know. So it is a matter of a parent should not feel like you're a failure. You should not feel like you're the one who's placed the most negative thing. You should just stand firm. The way Akinyi said there are rules in this house. If you can't follow them, go. Most of us parents, African parents, we don't have this heart to let our kids go. Not so many can. Even at home, back home, the black sheep in the village, like in your family, was your favorite to your mom.
Favorite to your mom, especially. He or she has to be favorite to
your mom. Yeah, so it is also difficult. You've not had a contact with your kids for years. Then you bring them. Will you let them go to the world, like to Jungenam or to one group? And this one group is even worse. Because you know what they tell you. We will take her, but just in case of anything, we will call you. So then why are you taking her there? If they have to call me over every little thing that she has done, why is she there? So sometimes it's a very, very, very difficult situation. And if you see parents crying on the internet, it is because they can't hold anymore. You know, some are stressed up, some are so depressed, some You have work. You have to take care of a stubborn kid. You have to pay traffic. You're working, and your money is the one that's being used because you don't want your kid to go to jail. It's a really tough situation.
I'm sorry, I have a question. Why do you think the children act like this? I think we haven't spoken about that.
We were coming to that.
Why?
To ask where are we failing?
No. Why are we failing? That's not the question. Why do you think the children are acting like this? I'm not saying why we're failing.
Because of the whole cultural difference. The way we started, we say this kid comes from Africa, where there are rules and everything laid in part. And if you don't follow these rules, there are tough consequences and choices.
I think yes and no.
Yeah.
I would say because you said a point about a child growing up in Africa maybe for 8 years, and you were not, a parent was not there to raise them. To a child, they could be thinking, mom is or dad is in a different country and I'm here. They don't love me. That's why they're there. Or the person that they put me with, X, Y, Z, for other reason. So it could be maybe that a child, you even said it, a child is saying, you were not there for X amount of time, so what, you cannot tell me to do this. To a child, it's potentially a trauma. They're thinking, okay, no, mom doesn't love, I'm not going to listen to them. They left me wherever they left me, so why should I even listen to them now? You were never there for me when I was young, X, Y, Z. So I'm not saying that's the reason for everything, but I'm saying, the question again is, why do we think the children are acting like this? Because we haven't really explored that.
Let me answer you. I will not stop chasing my dreams because I gave up. Let's call a spade, sure. Right? I came to Europe, and that is what I said in between my conversation. Maybe I'm talking too much. Maybe in between my conversation that this kid will not understand that you left them for 8 years, for example, to come and try to give them a better life.
Sure.
Because if I stayed with them in Kenya, for example, I'm jobless, we don't have anything, they cannot go to good schools. If I'm in Europe, I can afford to pay for them private schools, I can afford to do this. Now that comes the point, the kid might not understand at that time. You talk, it is about trauma and everything, that one I will totally accept. But what am I supposed to do? Sit at home with them and suffer or chase this opportunity that I got to come to Europe and try to give them a better life. And that is where we came in. That later on in life, they will come to realize you did this for them. But before that, later on, you don't know. In between there.
I don't think you're definitely not wrong in what you're saying, what you did. I think I think this is potentially where I don't know if it will work, and again, I'm not a parent, so I cannot say this is going to work. But maybe it's like that. This is where that balance of that dialogue comes in. I'm doing this because X, Y, Z. I'm not doing this because I know it's easy for me to say. I'm going to say it.
It can be easier, sure.
But like, this is maybe where the element of the dialogue comes along to say, look, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing this for you to have a better life. At the same time, it's hard to do that because if you're working, you're studying, your mind, you're tired, you're stressed, and you're X, Y, Z. It's not easy to do that, but at the same time, I think it's important to have, I think, as a child, to understand why is it that I'm not with my parents? Why is it that I'm with potentially a stranger, and this stranger is doing X, Y, Z to me, whatever, and my mom and dad is not here. As a child, it's important. It's definitely important. Even if like you're there with even if your child is with you, it's still important to speak to them, because there's certain things I went through, being beaten up or being even some of the things were saying, my parents used to say in terms of, I would bring a result and they said a result, there's always room for improvement. That always in your head, you're thinking you're not good enough. That for me, not saying for anyone, for me, was I'm not good enough. I always need to do more. I'm never enough. In work, I always need to work harder. And I never really got to enjoy what I was doing. I never really got to give myself accolades, or even if someone gave me accolades to say what you're doing as well, I was like, no, it's not good. I need to do more. And even I personally went through therapy to just to understand certain things in my life, and just to come to a point where and understand some things about myself, because I didn't really have dialogue. I had some dialogue as I got older, but I didn't have dialogue when I was younger with my parents. So I think dialogue, I still think dialogue in whatever shape or form, being just talking, I'm doing this because of X, Y, Z, is important with a child. Even if you're distant, or you're very close to the child, or you're distant in terms of in a different country or close. But again, I'm not a parent, so I don't know. So
I think Kenya, you talk
actually, no, question for you.
Ask, because I'm here.
Yeah. So how you have a daughter or you have a child?
Yeah.
What are you doing now with your child to and I don't know if your child is here or in Kenya. What is it you're doing now, or what is it you have in your mind that you do in terms of how you raise your child?
In terms of how I'm going to raise my child,
Yeah.
It will depend with the mother too. But as a father figure here, I want her to have a better life, and I don't want her to have a life that I had before. I don't want to punish her the way I was punished to do some things. The dialogue, of course, comes in. Like right now, you are asking me if she is here, she's not here. So I have to tell her why I'm here, like the same thing Becky said. I have to explain why I'm always not there when I'm calling her, or when we're talking on phone and she's asking me why you're not here. And she doesn't ask because she cannot talk, but sometimes I feel she really needs to know why am I coming home and after 2 weeks I've disappeared. So I try to try to tell her why I'm here. Sometimes calling her at work, calling her wherever I am, calling her why I'm here, so that she understands that he's not here because he's somewhere working. But I want her to have a better life that I never had before, and I want to struggle so much so that I can be one day together with her. So that let her not be raised by the mother only, so that the father can be always there. So that because there is this love that she needs, and there's so many things that life is changing from our generation that was in the 90s. I'm not that old. So many things are changing as we go on. This is the 21st century and we are heading on. There's so many things that have happened since 2 years. The world is changing day in, day out. Technology is going to the other side. So I have to look on one way. I don't have to bring her up like my father did bring me up. So I need to go study the technology and see what is actually happening on the way up, so that I might too, as a parent, be digital with my child as she is growing. And avoid so many things that I have seen before. So I can be strict right now, like my father used to be strict, which I'm going to maybe I'm going to take a very wrong path on this, because I really need to see that what is it needed at this particular moment, at this time that we are aging. Nowadays people are growing up with phones. Nowadays people are growing up with computers. I never did that. I never had advantage of having that, but now I have to learn more on what is happening, so that I don't try to enter into a trap that I will never come out, or enter into a situation whereby I will be asking for help. How am I supposed now to raise my child? Because there's so many things as a parent now. When you become a parent, there's some things that opens up that you never knew when you were single. There's some things that open up that you never knew when you were only you two with your wife. Now it becomes, there's something that always widens up. You have to learn more things as days come. And now I can only advise myself, I always tell myself that I really need to study what is actually ahead of me, so that when she comes, when she's growing day by day, I bring her up according to how the world is right now. Because I can't just tell her, I just teach her what my dad used to teach me, which nowadays nobody is trying to use some things that we were using before, or to be taught in this way that we were not used before. We have talents going on here right now. We have so many people doing this. Some of us, we were discouraged not to, from our parents, not to participate on the talents. So that's one thing I can maybe say is chasing some children out there to go and say, I need my freedom. I need to go and play football. I need to go and do that. I need to go and DJ. Which African parent were you to tell I'm trying to go to the club to learn DJing, which nowadays is something that is earning people money.
Yeah, a lot of it.
Yeah, but our typical African, they couldn't understand that. So if my girl sometimes decides, Dad, I want to be a DJ, and the only club, the only place you can see these people DJing sometimes, which we always had in mind. We did not have to know that a DJ can be sitting here like the way we always do and do your show here DJing. But we always knew being a DJ for one African parent will tell you your daughter will be only in the clubs for the whole time, which is wrong. You cannot. You don't have only to be clubs. You have been here. You have not been maybe in clubs every day. You can do in weddings. You can do in wherever, which is something that is people are earning more about DJs, but you cannot tell an African parent now. I want to study DJing. So there's so many things I need to learn and then help her grow up according to how this how we are aging up.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm right, but I'm trying to seek out for those people who actually are ahead of me.
It makes sense. I think what I picked up from what you said is learn to adapt.
Learn to adapt.
And I think if you get it wrong, it doesn't mean that you're at fault. You just have to get
up and
keep going.
dust off and
being a parent is not easy.
Akinyi talked something about friends, which when you asked Becky actually about what do you think, why do these children actually do this? Sometimes it is this transition. Do you think that the friends, I wanted you to expand about the friends, because I feel sometimes the friends take part on what is happening right now. Because if TP you came here and you find I'm gonna take you out every Friday evening, I've ruined your weekend. Instead of taking you somewhere on a Friday evening, sit down and discuss business, but we go there and discuss something else. I'm just ruining your life. So I think it only depends on the friends that we see this child is growing up with, or the kind of people this girl is, or this guy or boy out there is trying to see. The way Becky was saying, you enter into a S-Bahn. I'm always from this studio very late. And what I see in the S-Bahn, sometimes I don't even think I am a man. And sometimes what you see in the S-Bahn as a parent, you don't want to see your child like that. But the same problem now appears when the children, or when the police are calling, or the parent is calling actually the police to tell them my child is not home, is like that and that. And they tell you her time is not yet back to come home. So you as a parent, you want your kids to be at home. I will want my kids to be punctual at home, because it doesn't have to be that I'm trying to be strict on time, but I just want her to learn that in future you need time management.
There's a lesson.
There's a lesson in between there. It doesn't have to mean that it's only that thing that I'm restricting you from, but there's something I want you to learn so that in future you may be very, very, very accurate to time. You have to take time whenever appointments you have to know it is time. But now if you see people, I think friends, because I work with most of the people who are younger than me, and I understand when it's a Friday evening and they're telling me I want to go. So I'm like, we have to finish work, but they want to go early. So going early is because the friends are picking him up or are picking her up. So this kind of friends, I think what Kinyi was trying to say, it can come in one way or another to see our children that we bring here, because now they have another freedom which they want, which we don't deny them, but they want it more than it is supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. And that is why I said that dialogue is very important. And making your kids your friends is also very important. And even if your child is at home, you're still maybe on the process of trying to get your child over here. I think we should also learn from when you go to Rome and you see what's happening there is good, you should also copy it. I mean, the good things that these people do, we should emulate it. I'm talking from my own experience. Growing up, I can count a number of times that my parents actually mentioned the words "I love you." Okay, that is so it's automatic that it is that in us it's very hard for you to just keep on telling them. But imagine if your child was at home and you just keep on ringing this thing to her. I love you, and that's why I'm here, I'm doing this. I love you, and I'm doing this thing. I love you. When the time you bring that child and you make the child your friend. You talk to the child, you say, this is a new place. this thing are going to happen, this thing are going to, I want you to know that you can always tell me anything. When you go to class, maybe there are going to be some kids that are not really nice. They're not going to say some stuff that you like. But if that should happen, come and tell me. When you create that environment that you can actually relate with your child, chances are your child will listen to you.
Sure.
But then there are also those other children that are just rebellious. And those children that are rebellious, my own personal take is tough love. It's nothing else.
It's nothing else.
Yeah.
Adding on the friends' point of view.
Okay.
As we said, when we are talking here, like we are ranging over a little bit grown kids. One, you cannot choose friends for your kids.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the problem is, even if they take the wrong direction, you cannot go and get them out. Because again, that comes with the German law. Because if the law allows my kid to be out till 12 midnight, I cannot go with her or him out every evening to check what she's doing and what kind of friends that she's hanging out with.
Sure.
So in the whole perspective, like the way I saw the women complaining there and everything, as I said, every mother, if you're bringing your kids here, you love your kids. If you're bringing your kids here, they mean the world to you. If you're bringing your kids here, it's because you want a good life.
Sure.
And as I talk on behalf of a parent who had a rebellious kid, or the parents who are crying, the dialogue part of it, we try our best. And that is what I want to encourage a woman out there. Like, when they come, actually, I remember when I saw my kids in the airport, I just started crying. And the little one is like, Mama, why are you crying? She could not even understand why I'm crying. But because I fought. I fought till Berlin High Court. Like, I fought because they could not bring. Then you bring a kid here, they start telling you, is me shy as a girl? What are you telling me? Yeah, the law tells me this and the law tells me this. When the police come, they're doing nothing. Do you think there's any one time, like in real life, like let's talk the reality, that this kid will ever be scared of anything?
No.
For example, I know kids have dropped out of school at 14, 15.
Sure.
The government does not follow up. They don't. They call you, they ask you, if your kid cannot work, can they come to job center and we try to get something? The kid says, I don't want job center, I want to go back to school next year. What do you do as a parent?
So you keep waiting until the next year?
Yeah, because there's no other way out. The thing, the point here, what I'm trying to say, we are governed by German laws that are so difficult to parents with rebellious kids that they brought. Let me talk about the ones who've come. Okay, I have one here.
Okay.
But I brought two from Africa, like rebellious kids that you brought. Because if you check all the direction, like for example, you sit down with your kids, sometimes even you cry, you're like, Mama, I love you, I've done everything for you,
Yeah, sure.
You can see, like I have a very big tattoo with my kids here. Like I could not live without them when they were in Africa. It was really, like I was so depressed, I could not even concentrate in everything. It was really tough.
Sure.
Then you tell them, you know how much I love you. Like you're my world, you're everything to me. I will be very honest with you. A rebellious kid is a rebellious kid. Even if you take them, you try, like as a mother, I'm someone who's a little, I've educated myself because of having such kids and having such experiences. Like you try to explore and see, like, have I failed as a mom? Have I failed as a, because again, nobody should ever tell somebody because the father is not in the kid's life. That's where the problem is. For one, you can never be in a relationship that's not working out.
Yeah, because
so that people will not talk.
You not talk. That's
That's more toxic as well.
That's more toxic.
Because even if you'll stay there, you're suffering on your own. So and I always say, and I always tell people will still talk, no matter what. So you don't have to hold on a painful thing for people not to talk. There are people you give birth with. They don't care.
They don't care.
You write them, you try to beg them. Like, I know people, like, they beg their fathers, like, try to talk to your kid. And you see, and I know of a lady, one guy is like, hey, what is she doing? Tell her Papa will really be angry. And there you've reached your climax. You don't even talk to this person. But now you're trying to see, maybe I failed one side. Let me try the other side might work. Sure. And that comes also here. When you bring your kid and she comes into a lot of problems, you don't have to call the Jungenamt. The school can call the Jungenamt. the Jungenam can come. You don't even know where it comes. And the first thing the Jungenam asks you is like, where is the other parent? You know, like where's the dad or where's the mom? Okay, she's in Africa. Do they have contacts? A mom, I cannot force, for example, my kid to have a contact. Yeah. What I do is like, you know your dad's number, you know everything. You have your phone, you have your internet, you have everything. So do that. Again, it comes to a point if the kid is not interested, because maybe the dad was not in their life. You cannot change the situation.
You can't force.
So it all comes to one conclusion. There are kids who, like, I suppose the lady is a single mom, and this girl looks like, Made, what will you tell me? Just a woman like me, like, what can you tell me? The dad figure, again, you cannot go to collect people on the street to bring a dad figure so that this kid will feel like, let's talk the reality, will feel like they're comfortable now. I'm scared because there's a man figure and everything. It all comes down to a lot of things. It's not about only the reality, to a lot of things. But later, this kid will sit down and think, okay, I see my mom struggling a lot. I see there are even single fathers who brought their kids here. I see my dad struggling a lot. It's high time. Like, I come back to my senses. I need to help my mom. I need to help my dad. I need to help the other kids if you have others or you don't have others. So, at the end of the day, even pastors, who are examples in churches and everything, they still have rebellious kids. That doesn't mean that the dad and the mom doesn't talk to the kid. But it means that this kid just chose that way. Like, I've chosen it. Like the way you said, I work sometimes late. I come home. You're seated in the Uber. You're wondering, should I cry or laugh? Because you see an African kid this size. And that comes also, and you're like, the way they're doing on the train, you're like, I swear to God, if these kids were in Africa, me, I don't care even if I know their mothers or their fathers, I will deal with them. You know, because they also bring a shame.
In Africa, you belong to everyone.
They bring a lot of shame, and that is where that comes. There's a shy people who bring their kids and see the kind of things the kids are doing. You know, and again, it's directed to the parents. Who the parents are so innocent. You know, you come from work. If the kid tells you, Mama, I'm not putting on a shoe that's not Nike. Yourself, you don't put on Nike. It reaches a teenage stage that the kids dictate what they'll put on. And if you don't buy for them, whatever you buy for them, they will not tell you no. They'll just go put it in a corner. So you'll always be like,
can I ask a question? Now I want to ask her a question. Because she is in that shoe and I'm not. So I want to ask her a question about my own idea about tough love.
Okay.
So this child is a teenager, so which definitely means that he or she thinks that the kindergarten belongs to him or her. Okay? So based on tough love, what would happen if this child, if you actually opened an account for the child and told the child, right, the kindergarten belongs to you, it is about 200 and something, I will put it to you, and then you can now do what you want to do with the money. If you want to buy Nike, you buy Nike, but don't forget now, you are now a woman of your own. I mean, you are now adult. You are bossing yourself. You are your own boss. So no one is doing your laundry for you. No one is cooking for you. No one is buying Nike for you, and no one is doing. But you can live here. You are my child. But do you see that Nike shoe? Go and take that 200 euros and buy the Nike shoe, and then let's see what will happen with them. What would happen?
I'll answer you this way. Like, for example, because me, I don't count kindergarten as my money. It's my kids' money. You know, they have their own accounts. But I can tell you upfront, like, this is a live radio. But like my daughter, if I give her 600 right now, when is today? Sunday. On Wednesday, she'll have nothing. What will you ask? So where did you take the 600? I mean, I just bought. I bought stuff. Okay, fine. What kind of stuff? That is my. Listen, kindergarten, according to them, is my money. They just come. It just comes through your account. It's my money. And even if you go to like Jungenamt and everything, they will tell you, like their parents, like I'm sorry, but there's a lady who texted and said, the lady has said that the kid went with the friend, she doesn't care because she cannot report because she's getting the kindergarten. There are parents who depend on this kindergarten.
Okay.
And it's really helpful, to be very honest, it's really helpful to so many parents. So there's some who will not let it go. So when my daughter tells me that she wants a Nike shoe, for example, you know, I'm a mom, to be very honest, and we love our kids despite the rebellious. Okay, now she's really changed. We love our kids and everything.
You want to give them everything.
So I've tried. Like you even give 200. There are shops here, like for only such. Yeah, she'll go buy like all the nonsense. Okay. And she'll come. She doesn't have. You have to go out with your kid. For example, as a mom, I need to go somewhere with my kids, and your kids portray who exactly you are. Like when you're walking on the street, people will tell you who you are exactly by looking at the way your kids are.
Sure.
That's the truth, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm putting on a Nike shoe because according to me, I mean, I can manage my money and buy a Nike shoe. And I've bought the other small ones, Nike shoes. But this one, at her money, she doesn't have Nike shoes. So that comes in, you sit down and you think, what do I do? As a mom, will I go buy for her a 10 euro shoe because it is tough love? Okay? Now you just said, I hope I answered your question. You talked about, I don't do your laundry, I don't do your, I don't do your that. Richard just said a minute ago, if he was born in Germany, he could be too lazy.
Yeah, sure. That one I can say it again.
That comes. She doesn't do her laundry. She's a girl. So you gave her the money. She went and bought like 20 tops and jeans. Yeah,
which are supposed to be ironed.
Okay, we don't live in mansions in bungalows in Deutschland. Yeah. So you live in that house even if she has her own home. And you say, you know what? I will not do the laundry. I'm a strict parent. I have sworn, even swearing, like I swear I will not do this laundry. Akinyi, you're dealing with a teenager here. Yeah. Clothes starting from the door. Like the living room, like the door, because we don't live upstairs. They will go till the corner of the bedroom, right? So if she doesn't get and she's in a rush, what does she do? Bah, bah, bah. Then you're left again to start, and that becomes a trend. Yeah. She puts the clothes, they pile up. So the next time you're like, okay, why are you putting on that top? She's like, because all my clothes are dirty. Okay, you with friends, you can tell her you go, it's your business. You know,
sure.
You as a mom, you need to go with a neat kid wherever you're going, or maybe in school. I mean, because even the schools look. If you send your kids 2-3 times dirty, they call the Jungenamt. Yes, and they say it's like this mother doesn't know what she's doing. It's like she's too busy for her kids. You say you will not cook. You have small kids, so when you cook for the small ones. She will not die of hunger. You will not lock the food in the cupboard or in the fridge. But she has her money. Yeah, but she has her money. You're not lost. You see how where it comes that the parents end up so helpless. And the reality is, you cook for the rest. She'll not sit there and watch the rest eat, right?
She'll also come along.
She'll also come, and even you as a mother, you'll not let because she refused to eat. You're like the African mother. Food is food. Why will I not give you food? You know, no, that comes the tough love. Sometimes to be practical, like here, because again you're governed by the laws. If you go to that Jungenamt and she says, my mother does not give me food because I don't cook. Okay, fine. You know, you're like, for one, even you yourself, you don't even know how to explain it. You know, because again, they will label you as an irresponsible parent. Yeah? Again, it comes, they will label you as an irresponsible parent. They try, like, during my time, I'm so thankful to God. Actually, I'm not so religious, but my prayers work because I didn't have anywhere to go. You know, like I didn't have my mom. My mom was really supportive. I'm with my mom here. Like she could, if it was not my mom, I think I was reaching a breakdown point. Like I could not anymore. I'm like I could get depressed because you look at the situation here. People point a finger at you, yeah, and people talk. We're in Deutschland. We're in Germany. Like. You don't know how many friends you have, you know. You might go to cry to someone like, please help me. Like I know a very famous, a very known person here. I could cry to her like, hey, Peter, I don't know what to do. Please help me. Then I think 4 months ago we met. She's like, Becky, the kid is here. The kid is born here. Yeah. And the kid has been born and raised by both parents, although they don't live together.
Okay.
So she's like, Becky, I wish you told me it will be like this. And I thought it when I used to tell her, like, please come help me, she could bring her to me. I will deal with her. And these kids are so rebellious. They're like, Mom, why are you going telling everybody? You know, you're not telling them because you want to portray your kid as but it's because you've gone through a lot that, like, you've reached your end. Like you have. Then I was doing an Ausbildung. I need to finish. My kids are here. I need to be there for them. I have to do, and I'm in my final year, you know. So she could tell me, bring her. I will let her stay with me for like 2 weeks. Of course, my daughter will not accept, you know. Okay. Then we met the other day. Actually, till today, I laugh because she's like, see, how I put on weight because of stress. This is stress. You know, that's a kid who is born here. So it is not a matter of, like, all what we've portrayed and all what we've spoken is the reality. It's the reality. And every mother and every parent, every dad will want to dialogue, will want to be a strict parent. But again, all comes with the law. We're being governed by the law. This law is protecting this kid. It doesn't matter how bad this kid is. Even if we have parents who are crying because their kids are falling into drugs, I thank God I've not reached there. They've fallen into alcohol. I know of a woman who goes almost every Saturday to hospital because the daughter took a whole vodka bottle. She's 16. She's known. Like, she doesn't even drink wine. She doesn't drink anything. So what do? Before even they treat her, the mom, come and sign. Because you have to sign. She's underage. You have to sign her treatment. So the mom is always with the phone 24/7 because 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock she'll be called. Like, the kid is in the hospital and they need to take care of her and it's urgent. The mother doesn't have a car. It is, running throughout. Like, even you put your shoes there and your jogging hoses so that in case it's a really, really sad situation. But as we said, we might try to look for all the solution, but the reality of the matter is here it's only God. And when the kid realizes, now we are talking of this kid, you try your best, show love, dialogue, play your role, like do your best. Do your best. You know, bring her closer. Even you can go, sometimes you go for holidays with your daughter and you leave the rest, like to try and see, like try and see, like take them for holidays. Like my kids, I take them only this year that I couldn't go. Like, you go with them to change the environment and see if it's gonna, like, play your part as a parent, then leave the rest to God, because He's the only one who can.
I agree. I think even for them to go and see different environment changes their
perspective. Yeah, sure. I think we are running out of time because the Kingdom Talk Show is coming here right after this, and I may request whatever we have discussed a lot. This topic is very huge, we cannot complete it. And for those who are listening to us, you have been patient, you have been listening to us, and if you are tuned in anywhere you may be tuned in from, remember the interview is going to be in YouTube, on our Facebook pages. You're going to watch it later on if you have not watched it right now. We are running out of time, but Akinyi, you have 1 minute. 1 minute is even more. Talk to people out there, talk to parents out there. I know we cannot conclude this topic today. Maybe we can have another day for it. But talk to some people maybe out there, or to this woman out there who is looking for help. There's so many. What is here is it is the reality, as Becky says, and the reality is there are so many women out there which whatever we have spoken here, they're experiencing actually now. And some have even they have lost hope. Just tell them one word there before we come to TP. And Becky, I know you have released, but I only need
one last word from her.
I only need one last word from you, so that, because from my perspective, I have understood you have experienced a lot, you have seen a lot, you have brought them here, you are still trying to come up. By the way, you are doing a very nice job.
Exactly, I can see it.
You're doing a very nice job, and for so many parents, you have two boys Boys, we are naughty. I can just tell you that.
I know that.
But,
I know that. I've already seen that.
Once again, I will quote Becky's words. We always have to pray. Even
Yeah.
I'm very sure my dad used to pray. I was not that naughty, but I'm very sure I was not. But I'm very sure they two always sat down and said,
Yeah.
"We are praying for this boy."
Or even if not for the boy, pray for you have patience that
To calm down for this one. Okay, let me give my final word.
Sure.
I'm going to dissect it. My word to parents who have kids who are born here, who are facing some challenges. It is not your fault, first of all. You are trying to do your best. Reevaluate maybe the relationship that you're having with the child. Dialogue. Try and find out who your kids' friends are, and the rest you leave it to God.
Sure.
That is it. The parents who have kids at home, the same thing. Try and find out how your child is doing at home. Try and be in contact with the child. Try and make the child know that you love the child. You are here, but you love the child, and just make sure that he or she is aware that you have his or her best interests at heart. And the rest, as we said, you leave it to God.
Leave it to God.
The last set of parents is those who also have their kids at home but are contemplating whether to bring them or not. Those ones I would also like to talk to them.
Sure.
Try and check if the possibilities of that child staying at home might be an option.
Sure.
Because you will have saved this child a lot of challenges that the child will have here. That is only if it is an option. If it is not an option, that is also understandable. Because sometimes it is easier when the child comes here at an advanced age, maybe 17, 18, when the child can also be an adult in his mind.
Sure.
That's only for the parents that can actually contemplate that as an option. Yes.
Tippy, despite of living here, I am very sure you may be a parent, or you are planning to be a parent very soon.
Yep.
But it doesn't mean. But through your experience, seeing your African parents raising you in another world where it was not in Ghana, tell the parents out there, those people who are experiencing, motivate them, because you don't have to be one
to encourage.
Well, firstly, I want to commend all the parents. It's not an easy job.
Yeah.
It's not an easy job to provide money, and emotion. I cannot forget the word, but this emotional space to be with your child. And at the same time, you have the external challenges from, if it's people from outside, friends of the children putting stuff into their head. Sometimes people around you talking, or if it's the young and coming to, it's a lot. So I commend you for what you're doing. You're doing a very, very good job to manage all of this. It's not easy.
Yeah.
We all want an easy life. We all want peace.
Yeah.
But it's not easy to do this. I'll say for myself, from what I've learned is, first and first, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be like a long marathon in life, and when the child reaches a certain age, I don't think it's over. Maybe when they hit 16, 18, it's not over. They'll forever be my child.
Yeah. Sure.
And they'll forever come back to me and be like, oh, I've had this problem or this and that.
Yeah.
So I think first thing first is always be prepared and ensure that you're in a situation that allows you to be able to provide finance or provide emotional time and space for this child. My thing is, I always want to be a parent who will parent very close to their child, always be there. But that's me, because I know there's a lot that my child will be able to learn from outside, but I need to be there to help them to navigate that as well. So even if they see something outside, if it like the training situation, maybe I have to instill some values. Even what you said about the clothes, give them a little bit of that. If you want the clothes, go on, you have the clothes, but you have to manage it yourself. Instill values in them. But yeah, I think now, I definitely knew before, but now it's not going to be easy, but it's it's a challenge that I'm relishing. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, definitely not fair.
I know you've spoken a lot, but I want 2 words from you because the Kingdom Talk Show is beginning right here, and I'm very sure Pastor Eberhard is somewhere here waiting for us.
Yeah.
He is outside.
He is outside. He's gonna kill us, but we're gonna try to. Yeah.
Okay.
But we're gonna ask him to pray for the parents who are experiencing such kind of things. I'm gonna ask him to do that. All right.
My final words will be, first I'll tell Akinyi, like, the age limit to bring your kid here is 16. So if they pass 16, they have to come here as adults and they have to look for their own way to come.
Wait, repeat that one again.
The age limit to bring your kids here is 16.
All right.
After 16, they have to look for their own way to come because they're termed as grown-ups. Yeah. So every mother should try, like, they fight before the kid is the age limit of 16.
Sure.
What I like to say is, I want to encourage that parent out there who's going through a lot. First of all, it's not your fault. It's not your fault that the kid chose the way they chose. Secondly, I want to thank you so much. You're strong. You're a fighter. You managed to bring your kids here. So it is not easy, but you managed to bring. So you don't have to feel sorry about it or anything. What I'll just like to say is play your role. The way my friends say, dialogue, try your best. Even if they don't listen, sit with them, talk. Just talk. Even if they don't care to listen, just talk. Talk, play your part. Play your role as a parent. Show love. Yeah, at least nowadays we can tell our kids we love them. We never used to get that from our parents. They used to say it in direct. Actually, they used, take that shirt. You definitely know my mom loves me. Because they bought a shirt for me, you know. So, or maybe taking you to the show and my mom loves me. So it is a matter of play your part, do your best, and leave the rest to God. As Akinyi said, everything comes back to God. You cannot do it on your own. For that single mother out there, don't feel wrong, don't feel hard, don't feel ashamed because you're single and the father is not. You will not live in a relationship that's not working because you want to be seen. You know, a rebellious kid is a rebellious kid. With both parents, with 3 parents, with 1 parent, it is okay.
Sure.
Then the last parting word is, not all kids are rebellious, and not all kids come from Africa. Turn to be. Yeah, we have perfect super kids. Sure. Like, you thank God that they have plans and everything. Those 2, if you have, for example, 2 and they're 2 ways apart, treat them equally. That will the love will win this rebellious kid and they will come back. And I hope that everybody who's going through that should remain strong and stay strong because it's not easy, but we have to fight because we have a life to live.
Thank you so much for joining us, actually, all of you today here from Akinyi. I could tell you this topic yesterday, and thank you so much for being here today. TP, thank you so much for being here, and Madam Becky, thank you so much for allowing us. And for the lady actually out there, I'm very sure 1 or 2 things will try to help you out, and I'm very happy we could discuss this and she could come out. That's one thing that most of them don't do it. She did come out and say, hey, I'm tired now, I really need help. It may not come today, but I'm very sure, just pray and go on to your knees, as we have always been saying here. I'm very sure that kid will one day stand up and say, Mom has struggled hard, Dad has struggled hard, I need to change my ways. And you might be seeing, it might be the best kid that you will never imagine that you could have in the future near coming. Thank you so much for those who have been joining us. Remember, www.cradior.com is where you can always listen to us live. Facebook, remember this interview or this discussion for today, you're gonna find it on our YouTube page, on our Facebook page. It's gonna be there. Yes, watch it, tell us your comments, and maybe we shall repeat it for the sake of those people who did not join us today. Maybe we shall arrange it. But for the AGGY'S live talk show, I'm telling you, we have tried. AGGY, we don't know if we have tried or not, but I'm very sure we have brought your show to the end. We have exceeded. And to the Kingdom Talk Show that is coming up next, keep it on here. I'm telling you, we have the next 1 hour. We're gonna go to the Kingdom Revelation. We're gonna hear the Word of God. And what a way to close this Sunday evening with the Word of God, with such a kind of topic. We really need God. That's why we're gonna ask Pastor when he comes here. He's gonna ask God to pray for the mothers out there. I don't know if this is the topic that he has.